authors, and welcome back to So God Told You to Write a Book, Now What? I'm your host, Wendy Jo Cerna, and I am excited to venture into the second season of the podcast. In Season 1, I took you along with me through the process of writing, editing, and publishing my third novel, Solbakken, A Tale of Generations. I'm currently in the thick of getting my fourth novel, The Sabotage Scroll, finished up and published. But enough about me. Season 2 is going to be all about my fellow Christian authors who are launching their books. We're going to chat about the journey they took from the inception of their books to holding the finished products in their hands. Everything from how did they hear from God, to how did they find an editor or publisher or agent or whomever it was they needed to connect with to finish their particular assignment. We will talk to authors of children's books, memoirs, devotionals, self-care, and of course, fiction. So hop on board for Season 2 of So God Told You to Write a Book, Now What? I'm convinced you're going to find both inspiration and practical knowledge to help you obey the call of God on your life to create the book He has given you to create. Hey, if the author and finisher of all things told you to write a book, He believes that you can. And so do I. So come on, let's write. Well, hello, authors, and welcome back to So God Told You to Write a Book, Now What? We're in episode 3 of Season 2, and today on the show, my guest is Susie Crosby. Welcome to the show, Susie.
Thank you, Wendy Jo. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. Susie is the author of this is a children's book again, called Where is Sheep 100? It's a skip counting story about the Good Shepherd's love, and it's absolutely adorable. I love it. I was reading it again last night and enjoying it. The illustrations are just so delightful, and you want to just stop and look at all different 100 of the sheep. It's so beautiful. But let me tell you just a little bit about Susie. This is stunning to me. You work as a teacher in an all-kindergarten building. How many kindergartners do you have?
I teach about 100 of them because I'm a specialist, but we have 400 plus in our building.
Holy mackerel, that's a lot of 5- and 6-year-old energy. Wow.
It's a lot, yeah, especially in September. We're all kind of dragging.
Yeah, because you teach music, Phi-Ed, art, and technology.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have them for 45 minutes while their teacher has what we call plan time or a break.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
So it's full day kindergarten all day long.
It is.
Wow. And you've done it for 35 years, but you've not done this for 35 years.
Right. This is my 9th year at this school. And before that, I taught just PE at a K-6 elementary school.
Okay.
For a lot of years. Yeah. Cool.
And this is not your first venture into writing. You've written a couple of devotionals that have been published. I bought one of them and I have been going through it. Let me get the title right. LIghthearted, 100-day devotional. They're one-word promises to lighten your load and lift up your heart. It's so lovely. It's a beautiful resource. And I want to talk to you about this one too, if that's all right.
Sure.
So let's start at the beginning. Have you always wanted to be a writer, an author?
My first thought is to say no. I didn't know that I wanted to do this. But when I do think back, I think that dream has been in my heart. I think it has been there probably since I was young. I used to journal when I was young. I wrote in diaries and notebooks, and I won a poetry contest in 2nd grade. And my grandpa wrote and my mom wrote. So I think it's sort of been kind of latently in me, but I didn't really take writing classes in school or think I was going into journalism or creative writing or anything like that. I just went into teaching, and I kept thinking of ideas as I would teach kids, it'd be a fun book to write about, or, oh, that would help kids, learn this, or, trying to merge education and writing. But I never really did it until about 10 years ago.
Okay. You and me both. My mom was a published poet and a English major and very much a wordsmith. And I watched her in her journey. She didn't really start, I mean, she wrote her whole life, but she didn't really start really working at it until we all left the house and went to college.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched her hone her craft for probably 40 years. And it was fun to watch, but I didn't think I was going to be a writer. I don't know why. I didn't
What a
connect those
fun
dots.
connection. My mom was a poet and she
Yeah.
majored in English also, English
Well, there you
literature.
go.
Yeah. And
We are
one of the
kindred
things that
spirits.
actually really inspired me was that we lost her. And I think that's when I started really pursuing writing as just sort of connecting to
Yeah,
her and to her memory. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
It's funny because my mom mostly wrote poetry, but she did. I made a little devotional of some of her work because she lost her mind. I guess she had Alzheimer's
Oh.
over the last 7 or 8 years of her life. So I was trying to capture,
Mm-hmm.
some of her writing along the way, and I made a little devotional, just called it Doris's Word of the Day, and published it just for our
Oh.
family. Gave it to all the family
Uh-huh.
members at Christmas time. And just the other day, a friend emailed me, or no, she text messaged me and she said, I just have to tell you, my daughter-in-law and son have picked up your mom's book and they're reading it to the whole family. And now her daughter-in-law's whole family, are into her sisters and her parents are now reading my mom's stuff. I'm
That's
like,
so great.
isn't that cool?
I
But,
love it.
my mom, even when she was losing her memory, we would read her own stuff back to her.
Mm-hmm.
And every time she'd go, wow, that's really good. And we'd say, well, it should be, Mom, you wrote it. And then she would say, I'm so glad I wrote it down.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful.
for all you out there, if you're thinking about writing, it's one of the big benefits is that you can pass on your thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
everything long after you're gone. They remain. It's cool.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about the children's book first, okay?
Okay.
When did you start this journey?
Well, after I published the my second devotional, the one that you mentioned,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, it's time. I've written all the devotions I can. I'm out of devotions. I have one book that's 90 and then this one that's 100. I'm like, I
Yeah.
think that's all. I don't think there's more than 190 in me. Unless I write them for kids. And I was writing trying to get a little devotion published in Keys for Kids.
Yeah.
It's a magazine that does a daily devotional for kids. And so I was kind of exploring that idea and what it would be like to write a devotion for kids. And then I had written a poem, like my mom, for my
Mm-hmm.
boys when they were younger. And I thought I had found it in a file, and I thought this would actually be a really cool children's book with pictures. And it was about the moon. And I thought we could integrate science. And I really worked hard at. By then I had an agent, and she was encouraging me to like merge or like to do what's called a concept book, to have the story along with a concept, which could be math or science or something that kind of pulls in educators to be really interested in it, or parents that want to do some academics with
Yeah.
their story time. And so the moon book got lots of attention from me, and I had like a coach working on it, and I had my agent working on it, and everybody was just saying no, no, it's kind of not just, I think there's a lot of books about the moon for one thing, and it just wasn't striking the interest
Okay.
of editors.
Yeah.
So while that was in process and I was kind of waiting for the responses and she was sending it out, I took a class, just an online class about making children's books humorous and
Hmm.
fun and like what's
Yeah.
really appealing. And it just gave me all these ideas about kind of actually writing from an animal's point of view, or like a character
Yeah.
first person. So it was literally like the idea for the whole entire story and the sheep character just downloaded into my head right after that class. I just thought, that's what I've got to do. I've got to do a story about this sheep that is kind of mischievous and kind of relatable and has all this adventure and kind of trouble and needs to be rescued. And I'm going to involve counting because at the same time,
Yes.
I'd been working with kindergartners counting to 100
Yeah.
over and over and
Oh.
over. So all that had been like stirring around in my mind. And it's like it all just literally in about 2 weeks, I had the
Mm.
story on my computer. Not the final version, of
Right.
course, but
Right.
really
Yeah.
like the idea with basically beginning and end and middle, really pretty much how it is now.
Yeah.
So,
It's a cool story. So it's a story of Kobe the sheep, who
mhm,
is part of a flock of 100 sheep. And
right,
the shepherd is, and Kobe's not excited about being number 100 because
right,
he's always last.
right.
Which, as little as kindergartnens, they don't like to be last. Most of us don't
No,
like to
we
be
have a
last.
lot of drama about that. So
Yeah.
that was also really influential in my mind. It's like,
Yeah.
how can we help them feel better and valued and seen, no
Yeah.
matter where they are in a line, no matter what number they are, whether they get the special job or not. So, yes, Kobe is the kindergartner sheep.
Yeah. Yeah, he gets lost and the good shepherd comes and is
Mhm,
always finding him and pulling him back in and then
mhm.
he counts the sheep again, but by you call it skip counting by
Right. So
twos.
twos and fives.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then there's kind of a surprise ending.
Yes, I like the
Yeah.
surprise. You have to buy the book to get the surprise ending. But it's also it's lovely the way that so okay, so I just talked to Sonia Anderson about her children's book, and so I
hmm
heard a lot about her getting connected to her illustrator. So how did you get connected with this illustrator?
So I have a traditional publisher. In fact, the publisher for Lighthearted
Yes.
Devotional was B&H, which is a division of Lifeway. And
Okay.
so they actually were interested, their children's division, B&H Kids,
Kids. Yeah.
is, I think, it seems like really growing right now. And they seemed very interested when I think there were about three that my agent had submitted it to that said cute story, but no thanks, or not doesn't fit with what we have, or we've got this or that. I mean, there are kind of a lot of stories about the lost sheep, so it was a little bit risky, but B&H absolutely wanted it. And I
Hmm.
don't know if it's because they already knew me and worked with me, or they really just loved the story, or combination, but
Right.
they wanted it right away. So it was so quick. I basically worked on it for a couple weeks on my own and then about a month with my agent back and forth, getting the proposal really, she's just really a perfectionist about the proposal and she does a beautiful job. Gave
Hmm.
me some ideas to kind of make the story even better. We got it all set to go. I think we sent it in October and I got the contract in December. It
Wow.
was so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very quick in traditional publishing.
Yeah.
So,
So I
okay.
guess you asked me,
Yeah,
sorry, I got off track there because
that's
I
right.
started thinking about them, but the illustrator is totally in their hands. They basically gave me quite a bit of input. They asked me, what illustrators do you like? Give us some
Hmm.
children's books that you love because of the illustrations.
Hmm.
And so I could send like pictures of art that I liked, book covers that I liked.
Yeah.
And then they went from there to their own list of artists and
Yeah.
illustrators that they work with. The only
Yeah.
thing that I think I helped them think about is I said, well, it's got to be someone that can draw 100 things on a page because I want the kids to be able to count the sheep. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because there are artists who don't do, that small of,
Yeah.
things or that many of something on a page. And so they had another one in mind who already had a project. So this was kind of the second one they reached out to. And I'm just so thrilled with
Yeah.
Sebastian Braun. So
Yeah.
thrilled. So,
Yeah, because he not only has to put 100 on a page, but 100 different sheep.
right. And
I
then
mean, like they
really
are
working on
identifiably
those,
different.
right. Their, expressions,
Yes.
we had the accessory idea for sure, but he even had to do like the coloring a little bit different on some of them or
Yep.
just the amount of wool or yeah, he
Yeah.
really did a beautiful job.
He did. It's fun to just sit there where they're all on, the spread, two-page spread where there's
Mhm.
100 of them. It's fun to go look at all the variations because they're funny and they're witty and then they show up again,
Right. And
repeatedly.
that was my editor's plan. She wanted kids to be able to like kind of identify with a sheep, maybe one that had glasses or one
Yeah.
that, kind of made them feel like they were on the page and then
Yeah.
find that same one
Yep.
throughout the book. So,
Over and over again.
yeah.
That's clever. I asked Sonia this too, and I'll ask you. So, how did you get connected with your agent?
I had an appointment at a conference, and I think that's
Okay.
really probably one of my best pieces of advice for
Hmm.
authors is, and I'll tell you, it almost didn't happen. I had three agent interviews that went really well that
Hmm.
I submitted a manuscript too, and they came back with, I wish I could say yes, but I have to say no. I
Oh,
had been praying so much and I was getting so discouraged
yeah.
about finding one ever that I thought, well, maybe I just am either not meant to do this anymore or not meant to do it with an agent. Maybe, I just was in this kind of little bit of a funk. And
Yep.
I signed up to go to the West Coast Christian Writers Conference in
Oh,
Southern California. It was in Northern California that year, but I'm online with them and I know some of the authors in that
okay.
group.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited to go to their conference and like see everybody in person. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this is right after COVID had ended and then was coming back. Do you
Oh,
remember that resurgence?
yes, I do.
Yeah. So
Sadly,
they
yes.
were all excited to have an in-person
Yeah.
conference. And then at the last minute, it changed to online
Mm.
only.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd kind of budgeted out plane, hotel,
Yeah.
conference fee. It was going to be quite a lot. And so all of that was savings. Like I didn't have to spend that much. They gave us 100 back for making it virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to sit here and do it online, I'm going to maybe make it worth it. I'm going to get an agent appointment or something. Maybe I'll just
Yeah.
try one more.
Yeah.
And I looked again at the agent list and I hadn't noticed this one before, but Karen Newmeyer is my agent and she represents women's and children's.
Oh,
And I was like,
interesting.
well, I had the idea for LIghthearted, but
Yep.
I also had in the back of my mind and deep in my heart, children someday. And so the appointment with her was the right one, the right
Yeah.
time, and we connected and it's been a really great match. I think, she was worth waiting for and she was
Yeah.
worth getting the no's along the way.
All right. So that was with your second devotional. You connected with her.
Yes.
And that was the proposal, the manuscript that you gave her was the lighthearted.
Right. Right. And she
Okay.
loved that. She was like, I said, it doesn't have to be called lighthearted. She goes, oh, yes, it does.
Oh,
She really, like, that's what kind of caught her attention. She
yeah.
really wanted that, especially after COVID.
Yes.
And that has really, I'm so glad that's what we ended up with. But we started talking right away about children's down
Hmm.
the road. So that's been fun because it was kind of new for her then too. She was just kind of moving into children. So got
Mm-hmm.
to kind of do that with her.
Mm-hmm. I love those connection stories
Oh yeah, they're
because,
so
part of the
yeah,
whole process of writing is finding the right people to help you get over the next
yeah,
whatever hurdle or through the next door or learn the next
yeah,
thing is that you need to be surrounded by people who know more than you do.
yeah. And I really believe that God is so good at that. I think he actually just delights in like putting these people in each other's
Yeah,
paths at the
I
right
think so too.
time. And as
Yep.
long as we just are, we're praying, we're seeking, and we're talking to people and we're kind of looking for that,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes we're wrong. I thought those other three agents were the one at the right time,
Mm-hmm.
and the right person, but they weren't. But I now I know that he knew all along, and
Yeah.
I learned from each of those appointments, probably
Yeah.
helped me do a better job in the one that ended up being the one.
Yeah.
So anyway, he has connected me with people on this writing journey in such incredible ways. And like I just feel like the people have been the most fun part.
Hmm. Yeah, they're kind of the treasures along the
Yeah.
way, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's true. I love that. So we met through Northwest Christian Writers
Hmm.
Association. Again, I don't know you well, but we're getting to know each other.
Hmm.
And that's part of I joined right after COVID. I'd heard about it for years. It's been around for
Yeah.
35 years or
35.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I was like hesitant I don't know what my problem was, but I eventually signed up and went and realized I really do need community. I really do need to get around people who are doing the same thing I'm doing. Maybe not
Yeah.
exactly the same thing, but going down the same avenues of overcoming hurdles and constantly learning new things and getting over yourself and your doubts and your worries and your fears. So it's been really good to
Yeah.
be
Northwest
connected with
Christian
people.
Writers Association is the first conference I went to.
Okay.
And I joined in 2016 and
Okay.
I joined kicking and screaming. I did
Did
not
you?
think I wanted to go. But
Why did you go?
um
Did you know
I
someone?
I had another series of connections. It was so interesting.
Okay.
A friend of mine at my former school, I had shared with her that I felt like I wanted to write devotions and maybe publish them. And she said, well, my mom is a writer and she publishes her poems weekly. And she has a friend from college who lives up here. Maybe she'd meet with you. So I met with her
Mm-hmm.
and she told me about Northwest Christian Writers. And I thought, oh, that might be interesting. But I think a lot of us writers are kind of introverted.
You
I kind of
think?
thought,
Yeah.
I think I just want to do this by myself. And
Yeah.
so, but I felt this very strong, there's just, you just know when God wants you to do something. And
Yes.
so I went to the first meeting and I just imagined that my mom was going with me and Jesus was going with me. They were on each
Mm-hmm.
side of me. And I walked
Yep.
in and I met Peggy Anderson, who is lovely. And she was actually there the night that you and I met just
Really?
last month. Yes, she
Oh,
had
I
come
haven't
to
met
see
her.
the book launch, and she doesn't come as much anymore because it's hard for her to drive at night. But she was so
Okay.
welcoming and so believed in me.
Yeah.
And again, that I felt like all those people that got me to go to the meeting, and then Peggy being there was just these confirmations of God saying, "Yeah, I do want you to do this."
Yep.
So,
It's very true. And sometimes it takes a while to get to know people. I was
yeah.
part of the group for a few months and then went to the conference. And at the conference, of course, got a little more connected.
Hmm.
And then you go back. It's because it's only once a month. It's not like you're going to get deep
Right. Right.
relationships in, a couple hours a month, but it's where you start.
Right.
So we've talked about a few of the obstacles you had in completing your book, just finding the right agent.
Hmm.
It's such a journey. I guess that's what surprised me the most about writing is that the writing is one thing that you kind of control, when do I
Hmm.
sit down at my computer and how many hours do I do this? And that's all. I mean, you still got to do it. But then you got to get it out. How do you get it out? How do you
Yeah.
get it published? So
Right.
you went the traditional route with with your devotionals. Is the first one published traditionally as well?
Well, that's a good question because
Okay.
yes, it was. It was published through Harvest House. And again, it was a connection at the second year that I went to Northwest Christian Writers Association. I didn't have an agent, but
Mm-hmm.
this editor from Harvest House loved my idea and
Mm-hmm.
just, I think he might have actually written the proposal. I never wrote the proposal.
Wow.
He just told me to stay tuned. I sent him some of my devotions. The next thing I knew, I had an offer. It was like a miracle. I still don't know exactly what happened, but it was traditionally published by Harvest House.
Yeah.
And so it's called Just One Word. And it reminds me a little bit about your mom's poem book that you were
Right.
talking about. And it was so exciting. It was so fun. Paperback from the beginning. And
Mm-hmm.
it's still, a lot of people say that they read it every day and love it. But what happened was COVID hit, Harvest House struggled financially, laid some people off. And I'm not saying that's why, but my book went out of print at that
Okay.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was financial or they're just, like they just do that with their warehouses, just like
Yeah.
sold me a bunch of them for really cheap and said, there you go. We're
Yeah.
not going to make any more. And I was devastated. But at that time, I was connected. By then, I'd been connected with my agent.
Okay.
So I told her about it. I said, I need to tell you this. My first book just went out of print. Do you still want to work with me? Like, I don't know what that means, but it just
Yeah.
felt really bad. And she said, oh, yeah. And I said, maybe I should like hybrid or self-pub. I still want it
Yeah.
out there because if I'm going to publish another one, people might want to
Yeah.
look back and go, oh, she has another devotional, a first
Mhm.
one. So they have a hybrid publishing house connected with Credo where she works, Credo Communications. And since I got the rights to the file back, I was able to
Okay.
just turn it over to them and they basically republished it for a very nominal fee. It wasn't bad at all. They got it on Amazon for me.
Yeah.
So it
Because it
was,
was all formatted and written and
yeah, it was all
edited and
set.
ready
And
to go.
I got permission to have that back because it went out of print. That was part of my
Yes.
contract.
Okay.
So now it's hybrid. It was traditional, now it's hybrid or self, but
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's
um
out there
I
and
love that it's
available.
out there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you about this because when you traditionally publish, you sign your rights.
Hmm.
I don't know how all the contracts are worded, but to get that back, is important if you're going to
Yeah.
publish it
Yeah.
a
If they
different
take it
way.
out of print, they really have to kind of give you that back.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that
Yeah.
worked. And I can, with that one, I like to there's a ministry called Young Life
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
I grew up going to a lot of their camps and being very involved with. And I still really love what it did for me and my family. So they like to buy those books for their camp when they take kids to camp. So I'm
Nice.
able to get like author copy price or like,
Yeah.
or lower the price that I have on Amazon for them and do like a no profit kind of thing for them. And
Yeah.
that's been really fun because they come back year after year because they've got new campers.
Of
And
course. Of
yeah, it's a
course.
fun resource for
And
them.
and what's the name of that first book again?
It's called
90,
Just One Word, 90 Devotions to Invite Jesus In.
just one word,
Mhm.
90 devotions to invite Jesus in. Okay, so that's available. We can still find that one.
Yeah, that one's on Amazon only,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this other devotional book, first of all, let me just let our listeners know that it sort of takes head on our emotions
Yeah. Our hard
and
ones.
our hard emotions and kind of goes through them one by one. You can look it up, promises when you feel discouraged, promises when you're doubting, promises when you need forgiveness, when you're heartbroken, when you're hopeless, when you feel insignificant, when you feel lonely. I mean, there's quite a list. Of course, there's 100 of them, but they're each chunked into specific emotions that are hard for us to deal with. And then you direct us to specific scriptures
Hmm.
to
Promises. Yeah.
their promises in the
Hmm.
Word. It's very practical, this devotional.
I wrote it as a resource.
Yeah.
I wrote it because there's a couple of reasons, but I wrote it in that format because I used to have a promise book, a little tiny leather
Mm-hmm.
promise book that I think somebody gave me when I was in high school, and it had promises organized by emotion or by situation.
Yeah.
Promises for when you feel anxious, promises for when you feel lonely, promises for when you need peace. And I still have that book. I mean,
Really.
it is highlighted,
Dog.
dog-eared,
Yeah.
pencil underlined. Like I use that thing. And I thought, I want to write something like that with a little more depth to it. I want to add a devotion for each promise.
Yes.
And I ended up putting in some like journaling ideas,
Yep.
things to take it a little bit deeper. But at the back is basically just that reference guide, that promise book with each emotion with then the verses that go with
Yeah.
it, the promises that go with it.
Yeah. It's so helpful because you can go through it, just like from beginning to end, like a book, any book. But if you need something right then,
Right.
you're dealing with doubt. Ooh, flip to those and
Yes,
go. And
yes.
there's like how many per five? I don't know how
There's
many
about
per.
6 or 7 for
Okay.
each one, so kind of a week if
Yeah.
you're doing it that way.
Okay.
And there's 16 hard words, 16
Hard word.
categories. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're doing it this way, so you just work on when you send it to your, because we're kind of talking about process here. You send it to your publisher or to the editor there, and they do all this formatting for you. Do you have any input about that, or how does that work?
There was a lot of back and forth. That one was a
Okay.
little bit longer ago. I feel like, yes, I had some input. I wanted that reference portion in the front. They
Ah.
wanted it in the back.
Uh-huh.
So that was one thing that, we had different ideas about. But I mean, I trust them. They know a lot more than I do about
Sure.
how people are going to use books and how they're going to sell and things like that. I feel like it's a little bit harder to access being in the back, but gave on that one. And the title is always the publisher's and editor's decision.
Ah.
I didn't really know that. They did keep my word lighthearted, but all the
Yes.
subtitle and everything is how they wanted to word. I had some of the ideas. They just kind of made sure they put it in the way they want. Like they wanted to make sure they said 100-day devotional.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that part about lifting your heart and lightening your
Yeah.
load. I said I had that in there, but they just kind of reworded it a little bit just to make it flow the way they wanted to. And the same thing
Yeah.
happened with with jumping around, but with
No, that's fine.
the children's book, the title again, I learned is marketing mainly. And from the beginning, they didn't like my title. They
Hmm.
even came back in with the offer saying, we'll want to rework the title. And I
Mm.
was like, that's fine. I had spent a long time trying to make the name of the sheep, Kobe, match with come back, because I wanted to call the book Kobe Come Back. And I thought the
Ah,
CB,
yeah,
CB kind of sound, Kobe Come Back. And then that would repeat throughout the story. And even playing with the idea of calling him Kobe Comeback as a
right.
name, just kind of having kind of back and forth with my agent about that. Editors didn't like it at all. And
Hmm.
I learned they wanted it to say like a question, the Where is Sheep 100, and then get in the skip counting in the title. They even at the last minute threw in the Good Shepherd. All of that apparently is targeted for purchasing, that people like keyword kind of stuff where they're like
Yeah.
looking for certain books for homeschooling, for, whatever. They have their kind of filters,
Yep.
and they wanted all those words in there.
Yep.
Kobe Comeback wasn't going to meet that need.
Was not in their
So yeah,
list.
so it's basically lighthearted, and then Where is Sheep 100? The title was all
Hmm.
them. Yeah.
All them.
But they did
That's
ask me. I mean, it went back and
sure,
forth,
of
sure.
course.
But
Yeah. So the Where is Sheep 100, Kobe Comeback, has been out. How long has it been out? When did it come out?
it came out July 8th
So it's just
this
been a
year.
few months.
hmm
What kind of feedback are you getting?
I'm getting a lot of good feedback from people that have it. I have no idea how sales are going. I don't get to know that until maybe December. I might get like a royalties report just to
Okay.
count, but that's okay. I think what I love the best is, for example, I had a book signing at the Edmonds bookshop,
Uh-huh.
and people that I know in my life that maybe wouldn't necessarily just buy it on Amazon came to the book signing because that's like a fun thing. And so
Yeah.
this teacher that I teach with, who's not necessarily a Christian, just has young kids and likes children's books, came with her 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me when school started a couple of months later, she said, "Do you know that we have to read Where is Sheep 100 every single night? And we have to find your picture on the back, and we have to find what you wrote in the front, and we have to count all the sheep." And she's like, he absolutely loves it. And so
Wow.
that kind of feedback, when I hear from parents
Yeah.
or grandparents that their kids love it,
Yes.
that means everything to me.
Yeah.
So,
That's what Sonia and I were talking about, that you want the response from the kids to be again, again, again.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I'm
Like,
hearing that, like I'm hearing that from several families. And so that that feels good. That's what I
yeah.
hoped for.
And that's lovely because the book is, I mean, it is based on the parable of the lost sheep. True.
hmm
But it's not like bonk you over the head with scripture kind of. It's just about a good shepherd who keeps finding the sheep that wanders away.
Yes. And he
So you
actually is,
could, yeah, go ahead.
oh, he's in modern day clothing.
Yeah,
So it's not like this is a Bible story,
right.
but it is a Bible story. And it's sort of, what does somebody call it? Parable adjacent, because
That's a good
it's,
way to put it. Yeah.
I kind of, I tried really hard because I've read so many books as a public school teacher to see if I could work it into public schools while still having a really strong, scriptural
Yeah.
message.
Hmm.
And I feel like this could be read in public schools.
Oh, I
And the
think so.
only children that would, or teachers that would be like, oh, that sounds kind of Bible-y, would be people who already have read the Bible and probably,
Yeah.
know the story well, and I would think like it. So,
Yes.
yes, it's not saying that the shepherd is Jesus, but it implies for
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
And that's intentional because I want kids to kind of see the connection, but not have a whole bunch of kids excluded from hearing this story
Yeah.
because it says Jesus in it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
is B&H Kids, is it a Christian publishing house?
it is.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And so at the end, we have the back matter where they did put a
Yes.
couple of biblical questions in, but they were really good about helping me keep it to where we thought it could be in the public schools.
Yeah.
See,
And then
down in the South, they have so many private schools and homeschooling situations. It's a little bit hard for them to even kind of think that way. I had to really kind of tell them this is here.
Yeah.
We don't have as many of those. And the people that I'm going to want to sell to and share with are a lot of public school teachers that
Yes.
I want them to be able to read this to their class.
Yeah. It's a fine line we walk
It
sometimes.
is.
We, it's what is Jehovah's sneaky, I like to say. Wise as serpents and innocent as doves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the back matter too. I like you have like there's a little chart that
Yes.
helps with very specific skip counting skills. That's really practical, and I could see it'd be super helpful when you're teaching kids those
Yeah.
skills. Was that their idea too, or was that something that you
That
said?
was mine. I submitted that in the
Mm,
original proposal because I work with a lot of kids. I work with those hundreds charts. I made that one myself, but there's a lot of like touch the number and count along, and then like the circles for the fives and the tens
yes.
and things. This they're changing the color so they can
Yep.
count. They can really see that. And I think just that. I mean, for me, visuals help me learn so much more. And
Absolutely.
counting to 100 is so long and abstract if you don't have, so
Hmm.
actually did like an for hundreds day, I put a hundreds chart on the document camera so the kids see it on the screen, and
Yeah.
I had a bag of 100 pennies, and we counted them, we put them on the numbers and
Ah.
showed them what a dollar was,
Yes.
really worth 100 of these pennies. And it took a long time,
Yeah.
but that was really a good visual for them to see the chart filling up with the pennies and
Yeah.
the
You got to.
numbers going through
Well, you
each
got to
one.
use those pennies while we still got them, right?
Right.
So your publisher does most of the marketing for you. Is that true? Or
Yes,
do you have
they
to?
really they did. B&H is amazing. Their marketing team. I kind of would sit there in our meetings and go, "Thank you." I didn't know how much I would be expected to do. There were some things where they found an opportunity, like, will you write an article for this magazine that Lifeway publishes that they had a connection to? So I would have to sometimes provide something written
Mm-hmm.
or, come up
Mm-hmm.
with an article. And that was, of course, I'm going to do that. Of course,
Sure.
they asked me to do it. They got a little blurb in Focus on the Family this
Mm-hmm.
summer. Of course, I was going to write that. I had to talk about the book in 75 words or less. That was probably one of the
Okay.
hardest things to write.
Yes.
um, they did influencer mailings, which
Oh,
is huge. And
tell me what that is.
I would suggest that for self-publishing too, like an advanced reader copy. So send it out to several people
Mm-hmm.
before launch day and have them read it and be ready to review it. Be ready to just champion it when it comes out.
Okay.
So here's my book. You're one of the people I've selected to read it ahead of time, or maybe ask them,
Yeah.
depending on how long it is, if they'd like
Yeah.
to be one of those
Yep.
people. And
Mm-hmm.
then they kind of help you when it's actual launch day, talk
Right.
about it on their social media or buy a bunch on the launch day and share it with people and just
Right.
that kind of thing. So you're giving them a free copy then to like hope they'll advertise it in their circles, which
Yeah. Did they give you
overlap
a
with
list
yours.
of influencers that for you to do that with, or did you have
They
to
let
find
me
this?
come up with a list
Okay.
of people and then they had me write a note that they printed on paper that matched the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
they sent a book with that note to those people from them. They paid for all the
Oh.
mailing stuff. So that was huge.
And what did you get back from that? Did you get some cool reviews or?
Yeah, yes. Actually, some of those people made really neat videos and then reviewed it. But I tried to send it to people that live in different parts of the country than me or have different circles of influence. I have a friend
Yeah.
who's a pastor in Illinois. I have a friend who lives in St. Joseph, Missouri, and she has a little granddaughter. And she has quite a few people that follow her on social
Yeah.
media. She made a video of her granddaughter reading it, and then at the end, her granddaughter fell off the ottoman, and it was. And this
Perfect.
friend of mine has got this great sense of humor, so it just was this cute
Yeah.
video that a lot of people watched. Just that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But
That's a great idea.
yeah, so sending it ahead of time to people, whether your publisher does it or you do it, I would say is a really good
Right.
way to generate that first week.
Yeah.
Just like push, here it is, and look at all these people that are excited about it.
Yeah. That's a great idea because you can do that as an indie publisher, or if
Yes.
through your hybrid publishing, it probably would be a great
Yes.
suggestion as well.
Yeah.
That's a good tip, good marketing tip, because that's kind of,
Hmm.
like I say, writing is one thing, but then once it's out there, the marketing thing is a very ongoing process,
Yes.
is what I've learned.
Yes,
And
it
you learn
is.
skills along the way of what works. And honestly, it's we live in sort of a shifting
Hmm.
economy anyway. And so sometimes like, okay, Facebook was a big deal, and then Instagram was a big deal, and then TikTok, and you have to sort of
Hmm.
adjust to what's actually reaching the people that I want to reach
Right.
with the book that I have. But it's ongoing as far as I can tell.
And you have to figure out what's comfortable for you and what you're going to
Yes.
do. Because
Yes.
I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on X. There's things I just decided I still have a lot of friends on Facebook. I have a Facebook group,
Yep.
which in our conference last year, I
Yeah.
took the workshop by Carol, her
Tetzlaff.
name's Tetzlaff, yes.
Yeah.
And she talked about that when you post something in a group, your group members get notified. And with
Hmm.
the algorithms right now, you can post something and apparently some of your friends won't see it because it's just
Oh yeah.
so different. So with your group, that's still something to pay attention to. So I hadn't done anything with my group for a while, but I tried after her
Yeah.
class to kind of beef that up a little bit and do some more questions and just little posts here and there with
Uh-huh.
them because I knew we would get more interaction in
Okay.
that
And
group.
so tell me what the group is. It a group follow Susie
Facebook
Crosby?
group I started when I wrote my very first book, and I called it Hope and Help One Word at a Time.
Hmm.
And that they're the ones who actually generated the ideas, the hard things, the hard words for Lighthearted.
Oh, isn't
Because
that
I had
cool?
posted a question in there, what words weigh down your heart?
Hmm.
And boy, did those heavy words come in. And
Yep.
I was like, okay, this is what I have to do next. I just
Hmm.
needed to write. I needed to encourage them. And so it's a small group still, but I feel like I do get a lot of responses and
Yeah.
interactions when I post in there. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is I'm not a big like, look at me, I'm here today at this, like I just have a hard time with Instagram, like just coming on with whatever I'm doing. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna try with
Yeah.
this marketing thing. And so I thought, what would actually be, what would people want to see me do related
Mm-hmm.
to this story? So I actually got my husband to go with me to a sheep farm.
Really?
And he just took a bunch of pictures for me. And I was like, this farmer let me
Yeah.
hang out with his sheep. I brought the mock up of my book and pretend I was
Uh-huh.
reading it to them. And people loved that. I got to hold a
Yeah.
newborn, like 1 day old baby
Oh.
lamb. It just happened that they were just born. And so those pictures and those little clips really
Hmm.
they were fun to do. They were authentic.
Yes.
I liked being
Yeah.
there. It was a fun adventure. And also
Yeah.
people connected with it. So
Yeah.
that. And then I think that's what gave me the idea to get my stuffed sheep made,
Mm-hmm.
to get my little puppet,
Your little Kobe.
my little Kobe, because then
Yes.
I can take him places and then I'm not the focus. He is. I
Right.
can be like, look
Yes.
where Kobe is.
Yeah.
Where's Kobe today? Or where is Sheep 100? And I haven't
Uh-huh.
done a ton of it yet because school has sort of knocked me off my game a little bit, but I'm
Yeah.
going to get back to it. Yeah, I'm going to take him now.
Where did you get the puppet made?
I ordered him on a website called Budsies.
Budsies.
Budsies. I was looking on Etsy. I was looking on different places where they do custom puppets, and
Yeah.
Budsies is just an online company where kids can actually like draw a picture of something and send it in, and they can get a like a stuffy or a puppet made from it.
How fun is
So they're
that?
not cheap, but they
Yeah.
really did a great job of
So how
making
do you
him
spell
look
that?
Budsies.
SIE.
Budsies.
Budsies. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
look up
just
that one. That sounds
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Very fun. Okay, so you've given us some great marketing tips. I'm very happy about that. Yeah, we sort of need to start wrapping up here, but do you have any particular scriptures
Yes.
that helped you in the writing process?
Yeah, I really do. And I think it's kind of my daily scripture too for just life. And it's 2 Corinthians 12:9. I have
Uh-huh.
this framed in my bathroom. It says, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness.'" And I think, who am I to do this? Who am I to get to do this? I didn't take all the right classes. I didn't, jump through all the hoops, and he's letting me write for him. And I get really nervous sometimes, and I get, doubt myself, or got discouraged along the way a lot. And I thought, wait, I'm just going to keep bringing it to him. My
Yeah.
weakness, his grace is sufficient. His power is made perfect. And I just have to keep believing that and letting him in, letting him work
Mm.
and letting him do what he's going to do. And so all the things that seem hard and scary, which there have been plenty along the way,
Yep.
very vulnerable, putting out
Yeah.
all my stories in some of those devotions. And even the children's book, I had quite a bit of anxiety when it first came out, because I just feel like, oh, this is like my heart. It's almost, just put yourself out there when you write. And I think, but his grace is enough, and his power is made perfect. So if I can just give him my imperfect me, my weak places,
Mm-hmm.
and let him do what he wants. And boy, I'm just kind of blown away by what he does,
Yeah. Yeah.
the people he's let me meet, the things I've gotten to do. And, I'm not like making a ton of money on this here or anything like that. That's not the
Yeah.
kind of blessings I'm talking about. It's like this incredible gift of being able to serve people for him that I didn't know I could do.
Yeah. And it's like we touched on the beginning with my mom and your mom that when you write things down, they become accessible in places that you can't go, and they will
Yeah.
outlast you.
Yes.
And who knows? That's one of the beautiful things about books is they just go once. But it's
Yeah.
also the scary thing about books is they just
Yes.
go.
I know.
You know. But I get some feedback every now and then, little texts or messages, and they'll say, one gal said, "I'm in the hospital with my dad, and I've had your book on my bedside table for a while, and I just haven't had time to read it. But because I'm sitting here for hours, I thought I need something to read." And she said, "It's the perfect thing
Oh,
at the perfect moment that I needed." And I thought, okay, I didn't even know her dad was sick. She lives thousands of miles away. I couldn't have gone there, but my book went there.
that's
And
so
all the
neat.
things that the Lord, taught me about some hard things were ministering to her at the right moment, at the right
Mhm,
time, but only because I went through all the uncomfortable and the
mhm,
vulnerable and the hard work and the scary to put it all down
mhm.
and make it accessible to other
Yeah,
people.
we
So,
trust him in these next steps, next steps, next steps, not really
yeah,
knowing exactly how it's all gonna
no,
turn out or go out, but it's fun, isn't it, to get those little messages or to
it is.
know. I mean, I'm sure it's happening lots of places and times where we don't hear,
Yes, of course.
but it's
Yeah,
so fun when we do.
yeah,
And I just always am like, thank you for,
yeah,
thank you, God, for letting me know that you
yeah.
did this or that this was
Yes,
happening. And yeah,
absolutely. It does keep us going. Fuels
yeah.
the fire a little bit. Let me ask you this for our last question here. If you could give aspiring authors one piece of advice, what would it be?
Can I give two?
Okay. It's because you wrote a devotional and a children's.
Okay. All right. So I think I've already kind of said, go to conferences. I just think, or
Yes.
like we talked about, being in a group of writers,
Hmm.
whether you actually go to the conference or go to meetings, just kind of furthering the craft and knowing people that are doing it too. I just think that's really important, to not try to
Yeah.
do it by yourself. And then kind of along with that, when I first started writing, I asked a few people to be like my prayer group.
Oh,
And I would text them whenever I was like trying something new or sitting down to write or feeling discouraged
mhm.
or having to do a big next step. I would just text my prayer group. They were committed to praying about all aspects of the writing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have this appointment with this agent. Will you pray? Or like
Yeah.
every piece. And especially when I would send things off, like
Yeah.
to editors, and they are just invaluable. And every year I would give them the option out.
Hmm.
So every January I'd say, all right, I'm letting you off the hook if that's a lot,
Yeah.
if it's texting you a lot and
Yep.
you were so faithful to pray, but if you don't want to do it this year, I understand people get busy. So if I don't hear back from you, then no hard feelings. I'll just know
Yeah.
that you'd rather pause.
Yeah.
And almost everybody always said, yes, keep me in. I want to do it. But then once in a while, somebody
Sure.
would say, yeah, I just need this time. I'm
Yep.
taking care of my mom, or
Yep.
and got a lot of other things I'm praying and worrying about. So that has been huge. Now I have to say I haven't reached out to them quite as much lately. Kind of just been since the book went out, kind of
Yeah.
just cruising, I guess I would say, but that reminds me I need to like reach out to them every once
Yeah.
in a while, just
Yeah.
pray for the next idea.
Yeah.
They're
Exactly.
really, really faithful to pray whenever I ask. And it just means so much to know that other people are praying.
Yes. That's great. Wonderful advice. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that we didn't cover?
I think we really talked, I think to not give up for one, like don't give up because that agent thing almost got me.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have an agent. But it seems like lately that's sort of, if you want to go traditional, sort of
Right.
necessary now. So I think a lot of people that I've heard of that used to be in editing are becoming agents. So there are
Good.
more and more. It's
Okay.
possible to find them. It's just, you're probably not always going to get like the big names right off. And that's okay because
Yeah.
there's a lot of smaller names that are going to work really hard to
Right.
help you be successful.
Yeah.
And they know what editors are looking for. They know what is already saturated out there and where the needs are. So
Hmm.
another thing is read a lot in the genre you want to write. Like I just checked out a whole bunch of children's books. Even
Hmm.
though I've read a ton being a
Yeah.
teacher,
Yeah.
I checked out books on the same subject when I was writing the moon poem. I
Hmm.
just got a whole bunch of books about the moon because I thought I don't want to do it like anybody else.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just seeing what's out there is really important too.
Yeah. And the Lord told me when I don't know, it was my first book or whatever, and I did a hybrid, no, I did self-publishing, and I was hiring an editor for the first time, and it was expensive,
Hmm.
but I learned so much. Oh my goodness. But he said to me all along the way, well, he said, excellence facilitates accessibility. So
Ooh,
you don't need to be perfect, but if you know the level of excellence that is like, what is the market looking for in your genre? Like at least get up to the bottom bar of that,
right,
like
right.
like your grammar is correct and your punctuation is good and some of those very basic things.
Yeah,
But if you don't go for the excellence, people stumble over all of your foibles and never even get to
yeah,
your story that you have. So,
right.
so to go through whatever it takes to get to that level of excellence and to know what that excellence looks like in the general market
Hmm.
for your genre, like you're saying, is go and look at it, see what
Yeah,
it looks like, and make sure
yeah,
that yours looks at least that good and figure out
right,
how you have to do that. So,
right.
all right, Susie, I've loved our time together
I
and
have too.
I'm enjoying getting to know you better. But let me just remind people before we go off. So the children's book is Where is Sheep 100? A skip counting story about the Good Shepherd's love.
Hmm.
Find it. You can find it anywhere. Is it in bookstores? Is it
It's mostly online.
mostly online? Okay.
Yeah, I have seen it well, I tried to get it in Barnes and Noble. I don't know if it's there yet, but anyway, I would say online is better. But it is like Target online, Barnes and Noble online, Amazon.com, and ChristianBook.com. So
Okay.
yeah.
Excellent. But if you go to your local bookstore and say, hey, could you
Yeah.
find this book? It's also really helpful to go and ask those local bookstores because they don't even, there's so many books coming out all the
Right.
time to so go. And then the devotional that I have is called LIghthearted 100-Day Devotional. And that's mostly available online as well.
Yes, I've seen that one in Barnes and Noble, but again,
Okay.
online is best.
And
Hmm.
your first one is back on Amazon, and that's the 90-day.
Yeah, just one word. So I used one word for the title of each devotion, and I pulled the verses from and the words from the Message Bible. So
Ah,
it's actually a really good book for like new Christians or curious about
mhm.
Christianity people because it's very conversational and
Contemporary verbiage.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
And they're
Well,
very short and easy to read. So
yes, something
Yeah.
that you can digest on a daily basis. I love that. Thank you guys for listening. Go out and buy Susie's books. And if you've already got them and if you've already read them, please go online and give her some nice reviews and ratings. It's so helpful for all of us. Sure love and appreciate you. Blessings and peace. Shalom, shalom.